Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Stavros. For those of you joining for the first time, I'm an account manager here at the company, and today we are going to be discussing a very, very highly requested topic, and it is going to be, of course, binary options. Now, before we begin, guys, take a couple of seconds, read our disclaimer, and we are going to begin shortly. All right, let's just wait for everyone to join, and in around a minute, we are going to begin. All right. Leave any comments so I can make sure that you guys don't have any technical issues with video or support. Good morning, Mala. Welcome. Guys, tell me if you can hear me, see me, if everything's okay. Ali, Ahmed, hello, welcome. Good day to everyone. Glad you could be here. We have a high attendance today, so I'm happy. It seems that the topic that we've chosen is a good one. All right, perfect. So I think, guys, it is time to begin. So let's start off with what we are going to be discussing. All right, so what is on our agenda today, guys? And of course, the first thing is that we are going to be explaining why binary options. Why is binary options so, popular? Why do so many people actually use it? And why have you guys been having so many requests for it? Now, we're going to be discussing why it's important to actually use a plan, a strategy. And we're also going to be looking at not one, but actually two different strategies that we're going to be using today. And of course, at the end of the webinar, if you guys have any questions, I want you to comment, interact, so I can try and answer as many questions as I can. So yes, Dylan, I'm actually going to be discussing two different strategies for binary options, one for short-term and long-term, and the other one for short-term. Okay? All right, guys, so let us begin with binary options. So binary options is not only for experts. Even if you are a beginner joining for the first time, you yourself can still trade with binary options. This is a misconception that you need to be a professional or an expert to actually trade successfully on options. All right. Kamara, you will get a recording of the webinar. Don't worry, at the end of the webinar, we save this and we send it to you guys within a couple of days. All right, so as I mentioned before, binary options is very, very popular. It's actually considered the most popular category in our platform and a lot of other platforms. And the main reason, guys, is because in that 1 minute, you can actually make up to 95% profit. Now, for VIPs, profitability might even reach 100% in some cases. All right. Now, risk is only what you invest. And let me elaborate a little bit on this. So whatever amount you invest, whether it's $1, $5, $10, that's the maximum that you can lose in case your trade goes the other direction. So if you have $1,000 in your balance, you open a trade with 50, for some reason it doesn't go as planned, you only risk losing that $50. All right, so you can never go in debt, your account can never go into minus. All right, now here's something that I highly recommend everyone to try to incorporate into their binary options trading, and that is, of course, the sell function. Now, what does a sell function do? I'm sure many of you might already know. You can actually close and secure a portion of your profits when trading with binary options. All right, but in case that you happen to be trading, you see that the trade isn't going in your favor, you can also cut your losses short and actually close the trade so you won't lose all of your investment amount. Okay. Abdullah, hello. Hello to Sri Lanka. Now, the second thing is that you have so many tools that you can actually use to trade with binary options. So you have, of course, our indicators. We now have over 100 indicators. All right, we have our graphing tools, guys. We have our different charts that you're going to be selecting depending on what you trade. So there's a lot of things that you can actually use to actually make your trades easier and mitigate your losses. Now, of course, binary options can actually apply for every single market, whether it's a trending market or a non-trending ranging market. All right, and you can choose to trade on either technical analysis or you can also use the news with short time observations. Now, guys, I'm going to take the time and open a poll here. I want you guys to tell me, are you more of a short-term trader? Are you more of a long-term trader? Make sure to answer the poll so I can get a better understanding on, how you trade. What do you prefer to trade with? Now, when you are starting off with options or you're trading, you can actually start with a minimum investment of $1. Arjun, yes, you can make money if you actually follow the right approach, and you also use proper risk management techniques. All right, so as we said, minimum investment is just $1, and of course, minimum deposit is just $10. All right, don't forget, minimum withdrawal is going to be 2. All right, now, why do I bother preparing all of this? I want to explain why you should always use a strategy and why you should always be prepared. All right, what will happen if you don't actually use a strategy, a plan? All right, you are gonna, first of all, lose your investment faster. Now, guys, thank you for taking the time to actually finish the poll. I see here that, all right, a very big number of you, 82.7% and growing, are short-term traders. So this is going to be perfect for you guys. I have 2 strategies that I'm going to be using. One applies for short-term and long-term, and one applies for those 60 seconds. Okay? Now, moving back to why you should always have a strategy. Now, if you come and you're not prepared, first of all, there's a big chance that you're gonna lose your investment much faster because you're coming in to your trade without any kind of a plan. You're just randomly trading. All right. Of course, risk is gonna be much higher because you don't have a specific approach that you're gonna be using. All right. And again, you are just trading randomly, and this is gonna cause uncertainty, fear. This is going to cause you to, feel all sorts of negative emotions, all right, which will end up, getting you disappointed and, feeling that you want to give up, all right. Now, my point, you need to have a plan. As a pilot that's going to, fly an airplane, he will have a flight plan. He's going to do his pre-checks. He's going to have a flight path as to where he's actually going to fly. So this applies for trading, and it's not only for binary options, it's for everything. All right, you need to have a strategy, whether it's a simple or a complicated one. You cannot get into sorry guys, you cannot get into a trade without using some kind of a plan. Nimsara, sorry to hear that. All right, but this has to do with money management, which we are going to talk about as well. I do plan on doing a webinar about this. This might actually be the perfect time to ask this poll. So I'm going to be opening another poll right now on risk and money management. Guys, would you like to have a webinar on risk and money management? Since I did see a couple of comments here saying that they lost their money too quickly, I want to ask you guys to fill the poll out on whether or not you would like to see a webinar on risk and money management. All right. Now, moving back to our presentation here, why use a strategy? Of course, as I mentioned before, even a pilot needs to have an approach, a plan, so he can follow, so he can be more consistent and get better results. Now, of course, this avoids trading randomly. All right. It avoids you feeling that fear, that insecurity, that you won't be able to trade correctly and consistently. And of course, you will minimize your risks. All right, you have a plan, you have a specific guide of instructions that you're going to be using that will be tested before to have a specific level of success. So obviously, you're going to be minimizing your risks, and of course you are going to be maximizing your profits, and you're going to be more consistent into the outcomes of your trade. Floyd, if you cannot see or hear me, try logging in and out, see if that works. All right, Udega, hello again. And of course, guys, last point, which relates to all the others, is that you are going to be able to achieve better results. Now, let's look at our first strategy. It's a very colorful one. It's our rainbow strategy, which consists of 3 moving averages crossing each other. All right, now, what this is basically, traders actually use a different color for each of the 3 moving averages, hence why we call it a rainbow strategy. All right, and the idea here, guys, is very, very simple. Now, during a strong movement, and it needs to be a strong movement, all right, to have the best possible effect, these multiple moving averages should basically be stacked from the slowest one to the fastest one in the direction of the market price. Ibrahim, yes, I am talking now. If you're having difficulties hearing or seeing me, just try logging in and out of the webinar, see if that helps. Now, first of all, the fastest moving average should be the one closest to the current market price, followed by the second fastest moving average, which is going to be the second closest to the market price, and so on. Now, I want to point something out. Now, this specific strategy, if you add more indicators, it's not really going to have any kind of effect in terms of accuracy. So if instead of 3 you add 2 more indicators, there's not going to be a real difference in this. Now, if though you actually you actually only use 2, then the whole strategy is going to be much less effective. Guys, I will be showing examples, don't worry. All right, even if you miss something, you're going to take the time, you're going to be able to take a screenshot of this as well, just for you to have. All right, so these 3 moving averages will give you the best results. Now, let's take the time, just look at our poll here. I want to see what you guys think about our webinar. Whoa, 95.4% of you won a risk management webinar. So I think it's good to say that there's going to be a webinar about this coming soon. Perfect. So let's move on to explaining how you're going to be setting up your rainbow strategy indicators. So step 1, you're going to go to your indicators and you're going to select moving average, and you are going to select EMA. All right, it's important, EMA, and you are going to set your period to 6 and make this blue. Step 2, again, you select moving average, you change the setting to EMA, and you change your period to 14. And of course, step 3, you select another moving average, EMA, and you select a period of 26 in red. So we start, guys, with the fastest one, which is the blue one. We have the yellow one, and then the red one with a period of 26, which is going to be the slowest one. Now, I will take the time now, go to my platform and actually show you how you're going to be setting up. In the meantime, tell me what you think about this specific approach, guys. Have you ever used anything similar? Let me know in the comments below. All right, so let us begin. First of all, by going to our indicators here, what you can quickly do is just search for MA moving average. You select your moving average here. All right, we change this to 6 and we select EMA and we make this blue. Now, what you can also do is you can also make the line a little bit thicker and you press apply. And here is our first moving average. This is going to be the fastest one. Now, let's move on to our second moving average. Again, 14. We make this yellow and we select EMA here. No, you cannot use SMA. It needs to be an EMA. All right, and finally, our last one. Can anyone remember the periods and the color for this? Anyone in the comments that was paying attention or took a screenshot? 26. So again, period of 26. Deepak, yes, there will be a Q&A. Don't worry. If you have any questions, make sure to Ask them now. Rami, there was a delay, but yes, 26. Okay, guys, you're paying attention. Perfect. So, oh, just a second. One of them was not actually, didn't make this bold. All right, perfect. Guys, so here we have our 3 moving averages. Now, small tip, when you've applied your moving averages, go here, press Save Indicator Template, and you can just name it whatever you want to. You can save it. And if you want to, apply it to something else in the future, you just go here, select Rainbow, and you can just apply it. Bam, you have it here. All right. So this is it for applying. Now I'm going to go back to the presentation, give you a couple of examples, and then of course we're going to be having some live examples as well. Now let me jump to the presentation. All right, perfect. So let's talk a little bit about the rainbow strategy. Now, in terms of time intervals, all right, now the expiration time that you're going to be setting on the top right, all right, you need to have selected approximately 3 or 4 times of your chart time period. So if you are using 15-second candlesticks, for example, your expiration time should be 1 minute. Okay. Second example, if again you're using 1 minute candlestick time period, then your expiration time would be 5. If you're going to be using 5-minute candlestick time period, your expiration time is going to be 15 minutes, approximately 15 minutes. So keep in mind that in the case of 1 or 5 minutes, it's going to be approximately 5 minutes, since it's 3 or 4 times. And again, last example, if it's 15 minutes candlestick time period, it's going to be 45 minutes and so on. Guys, I think you get the example, you get the idea. Now, let's look at when we are going to be doing a long position, when we're going to be calling, when we're going to be pressing higher. What actually needs to happen for you to call? So first of all, the price needs to cross above all 3 moving averages with a bullish candlestick. The next candlestick after that should also be a bullish one too. Now, the moving averages should now start facing upwards. Step 4, the blue moving average, which is the fastest one, needs to have crossed the yellow one, and the yellow should have either be ready to cross the red or already crossed it. All right. When you see all of these indications, this is where you are going to call. Now, take the time, take a screenshot of this so you have it. Now, we will send this webinar within a couple of days, but take the time, take a screenshot so you have it, and I'll move on to what you would do if you were to short the trade. Okay? All right, so what would you do if you wanted to short the trade? What are the signals? Again, the price crosses below all 3 moving averages with a bearish candlestick. The next candlestick, again, needs to be a bearish one. 2, the moving averages in this case are going to be reversed, so they're going to be facing downwards. All right, and again, we start from our fastest, blue indicator, which is going to be crossing the yellow, and then the yellow needs to have either crossed or will be crossing the red one. All right, as soon as you have all these confirmations, you would press lower. All right, again, take the time, take a screenshot of this. Now, I also want to point out that the ideal trade is most likely going to form when all moving averages from step 1 are close to each other. All right. Okay, Mohad, you cannot see anything. Again, try to exit the chat again, the webinar again, see if that helps. Money, yes, we are going to be sending a copy of this at the end of the webinar. A couple of days after, you will have this presentation sent to you, so you can review everything if you've missed something. All right, guys, so let us take the time and look at an example here. Now, keep in mind here that we have 5-minute candlestick time period. Now, based on what we said before, if we need the expiration time to be 3 or 4 times the candlestick time period, what would be a good expiration time for you to set this at? No audio. Guys, can you hear me? I'm seeing that some people are having difficulties hearing me, hearing my voice. Can everyone hear me? I want to see in the comments here. All right, okay. Sharik, yes, we can hear you. Yes, perfect. Okay, so some people are having difficulties. Again, just enter and exit the webinar again. All right, so as we mentioned before, we are trading with 5. Okay, a lot of yeses, I get it. Okay, you can hear me, guys. That's perfect. Oh, a lot of messages here. Okay, so everyone can hear me. That's perfect. Now, guys, we are setting our candlestick time period to 5 minutes, which means that the expiration time should be, around 15 to 20 minutes. All right, now, here is a great example of this. So what do we see here? We see that the blue EMA crosses the yellow EMA, and the yellow crosses the red. Now, we can also see here that price from this point until this point crosses all 3 moving averages. All right, and then we have a second bullish candlestick. Okay, so let's take this step by step. So first of all, we have our bullish candlestick, our first candlestick crossing all EMAs. Second step is that we need a second confirmation with a second bullish candlestick. All right. Third thing that we should always look for is that all our moving averages should be pointing upwards, all right, as they are here. And of course, then we need to see that the blue is crossing the yellow and that the yellow is crossing or will be crossing the red. As soon as you have these confirmations, that is where you are going to open your position. All right, that is where you're going to call. Okay. So let us see here. So we're entering here at this point here, after this point. So we are trading with 5-minute expiration times, and we're going to be doing here, let's say we're having 15 or 20 minutes expiration time. So 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, let's say. So you would close a trade here, the trade would close here, and you would be in profit. Even if you selected 15 minutes, again, the trade would close 1 to 3 somewhere here. So again, you would be in profit. Okay. Now let's give another example here. So again, let's take this step by step. So we do see here that we have our first candlestick here closing below our 3 moving averages. We have a second confirmation here with another bullish candlestick. All right. You see here that all the moving averages are pointing downwards. Blue and yellow are crossing, and the yellow here is about to cross the red. This is where you would put. This is where you would press lower. All right. Now, let me take the time and show you some examples on the platform. A lot of comments here I see. Noshad, I've said this before, but yes, you are going to be receiving a recorded video of this in a couple of days. All right. So guys, let's move on to our platform here just to show you live a couple of examples. All right, guys. So let's find a couple of examples. Okay, so 2 perfect examples here. All right, so first one would be this. Now, what would you do in this case? Would you call or would you put? Tell me in the comments. Based on what we said, would you call or would you put? All right, let's take this step by step. Karan says yes. All right, so first step is that we need to have a candlestick that crosses all three moving averages and closes above. All right, and we also need a second candlestick for a second confirmation. Third step, sorry. Third step is that all moving averages need to be facing in the upwards direction, which they are. We do see here that the blue is crossing the yellow, and that the red here is also intertwining with the red. All right, so 1, 2, you would open here. Now, in our case here, we are using 15 seconds, which you can use. As we said, this is both short-term and long-term. And if you would enter here, let's count together. 15, 30, 45, 60, bam, your trade is in profit. You've made a nice profit out of this. All right, let's try to find another example here. All right, okay, we do have a good example here. Let's see. What do you guys think? Do you think that this would be a good example? Let me see in the comments. Or do you think this is boundary? All right, some of you are having difficulties. All right, so another example here. As you can see, here is another example. All right, so as we can see, blue is crossing the yellow. All right, we do see here that price is crossed and closed above our moving averages. We have a second bullish candlestick here. All right, blue and yellow are crossing. Yellow and red have also crossed. All right, and you would open your trade here. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, your trade is successful. Let's try to find a live example of this. All right, so this is not a good example. Let's try to. All right, this would have been a good example, but I think we missed it. Yes, so this would have been a good example. As you can see here, guys, we have our first confirmation here, second one here. You see that all lines are crossing each other. They're facing the downwards direction. So if I were to be on time, I would probably open my trade somewhere here on here. And as you can see, I would have made a nice profit. Let's try to find a live example now. Let me try. No. Let's see if the markets are in our favor for a live example. Let me just see what you guys have to say in chat real quick. So this, all right, so we have our first confirmation. This is not a entirely bullish candlestick. Let's just wait a little bit for this. So we see that the blue might be crossing, it is crossing the blue one here. They are facing an upwards direction here. So you could probably open the trade here. All right, and actually gain from this. Let's try this here. Let's see here. So let's open a trade here. Now, this is not the perfect example. And of course, you're not always going to be able to find the exact same scenario. But my point here is that you should try most of the times to actually follow all steps here, all right, for confirmation, just to be able to actually, get a good prediction. But, technical analysis is not perfect, all right? There's a high probability that you can gain from the trade, but keep in mind that indicators are not magic. All right. Now, again, this is not the best example since we don't have all confirmations. Try to be patient as to to see when you open your trade. All right. Now, you see here the markets are not in our favor just because we did not open with all confirmations. All right. Let's try to find another example that might actually. Let's try AUD. Australian dollar. So as we can see here, we didn't make any kind of profits. All right, so again, guys, we need step by step. Again, this is not in our favor. So we need our blue line to be crossing the yellow. The yellow needs to be crossing the red, which it is here. We have 1, 2 here. All right, so we could have opened here. All right, now again, guys, this is the thing. You need to be patient. Yes, Johnny, there's always risk. All right, but as I've shown with many examples here, you need to find the best time to actually enter. So let's see here. We might be having an example. Let's just wait for it a couple of seconds. So let's see if the blue crosses the red here. Just a second. Again, not a good example. All right, guys, so we might not be able to find a live example that actually meets our criteria, but my point here, okay, so this here, let me see. So blue is not crossing the yellow again, so now we don't have one of our confirmations. All right, so let's move on, guys. Again, what I want you to get from this is that you need to be patient, all right? You need to meet all the steps. As we can see here in CAD CHF, we did have most of the steps, but we didn't have all of them. All right, the point here is that you should follow every single step, and when all steps are met, you open your trade. So you need to be a little bit patient with this. Let's go back. All right, so let's go to our next strategy. This is going to be for 1 minute. All right, what is that MA period? So the MA periods, again, are going to be 6, 14, and 26. All right. And it's an EMA. So make sure to save your settings to change them to EMA. All right, guys, so let's move on to our second strategy. Redza, that is absolutely correct. So EMA 6, blue, which is the fastest, EMA 14, yellow, and EMA 26, red, which is the slowest. All right, now again, guys, all steps need to be met for the strategy to be as effective as possible. All right, now moving on to our next approach, which is our comma trailing stop strategy. Now, this strategy is more to do with our binary options traders that love that 1 minute. All right, so what indicators do we need? It is the ATR trailing stop and, of course, the comma moving average. All right, now the expiration time for this is 60 seconds and the candlestick time frame is going to be 15. All right, duration of this is going to be 3 candlesticks. Now, again, this approach is going to be most effective with our short-term traders. So 1 minute expiration time. All right, that's it. So let's go ahead and explain how this works. So this is very simple. All right, if we want to have a strong buy indication, what do we need? We need the comma moving average, the black line here. We need this to be below our ATR. So the ATR trading stop needs to be above the comma moving average. Okay, so it needs to be below the comma moving average. The ATR needs to be above, yes. So when we have a bullish candlestick crossing our ATR trailing stop, you actually open at the next candlestick. So first bullish candlestick needs to be going up and it needs to close above our ATR. All right. As soon as you have that, you have a strong buy. All right. The same in reverse for a sell indication. So when the comma moving average is above our ATR, and we have a bearish candlestick in this case here, you open at the next candlestick. All right, let's take the time and go to our platform just so I can show you how you can actually set up this indicator. All right, guys, perfect. Nimsara, we already did a Forex trade webinar, but we can always do more. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and set up our indicators for this specific. So let's remove everything. So first of all, we find comma here, Kaufman adapting moving average. And I'm going to set this to white since I'm using a background. You can use whatever colors you want. Okay. And our second one is going to be ATR. Now, guys, there's going to be two ATRs if you search. Make sure that you go to trend and you select ATR trailing stops. It's important. All right. Not the other one. ATR trailing stops. Again, I just like to use thicker lines here. And all right, so again, you can save this. Make sure if you want to reuse this and don't want to, don't want to take the time to actually do this over and over again. Again, press save indicator template, ATR / comma. You save this, and bam, you can use it whenever you want to. All right. Okay, perfect. So let's look at a couple of examples here. Now, as we said, first of all, the comma, our white line, needs to be above. So if we're going to be calling and reporting, so in this example, let's say we want to go lower. All right. We need to have a candlestick actually crossing and closing below the ATR. All right. And we also, let me find a good example here. Just a second. All right, so as we can see here, the ATR is okay. So if we're going to be calling, again, guys, the ATR, the comma needs to be below the ATR. All right, and we need to have candlestick closing above. All right, you would open at the next candlestick here. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me find a better example here. No video, no audio, man. Chandu, please try to log in and out again. Okay. Now, this is a good example here for a put. So if you were to be going lower, all right, so we have all the signals here. First of all, the comma is above the ATR. We have our candlestick here crossing and closing below our ATR, and you would open here. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Now remember, guys, this is 15 seconds and 1 minute expiration time. All right, let's see if we can find a live example. All right, no, this is not a good example, guys. Remember, the candles need to have crossed the ATR. So in this case, we have our ATR, our comma being above, our ATR here, but these candlesticks have already been below the ATR already. All right, that's why it's a little bit difficult to find a live example here. Let me try a different currency pair, just a second. Let's see if we have better luck with this. And as I said before, guys, it's all about being patient. All right, now I do want to take the time and actually show you a live example. That's why I'm doing this. All right, so again, we wouldn't be able to trade here since the comma is actually above. All right, so if it was another case, then it would be different. So here is a good example. So boundary example again. So the comma is above. All right, we do see here that we have a candlestick crossing our ATR. So you would open here. 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 45, 60. This is a successful trade. All right. Let me try a different currency pair here. Again, guys, it is a little bit difficult to show you a live example, but I am working on it. again, ATR is below. So in this case, the our gamma indicator needed to be above if we're gonna put. All right. So again, not a good example. Let's just wait and see if this candlestick crosses above here. All right. It might be a good indication to enter. Let's wait and see, guys. All right. You want to live trade? Let's just be patient a little bit, just to get the right conditions. So. Let me just see here. Chat. There's a lot of. All right, guys. Let's see. As soon as this candlestick closes above our ATR, it would be a call. All right. You guys want to allow examples, so let's. Look, trading can be boring a little bit, but when you make money, it's not going to be as boring. All right. So this is the whole thing. If you rush into a trade, it's not as guaranteed as waiting for the right signals. Okay. So again, not giving us a good indication to enter. Let's just wait a couple of seconds. So Hamda, the templates are very simple to set up. Okay, I can try and show them one more time. All right, during the end. Okay. All right, guys. So I don't think that we. Oh, wait. Just wait and see here. I'll just wait 10 more seconds. All right. Just be patient. So it's all about patience, guys. All right. I know some of you are saying this is boring, but this is the approach. All right. You need to wait for the proper signals. All right. If you rush, you get the wrong signals. Then you enter a trade. There's a high probability that you will lose the trade. Rather, don't trade than enter a trade at the incorrect time. All right. So, guys, I did try. I am sure that I'm showing you past examples of this. Let's try Euro GBP here once again. Maybe we can find a good example. Okay. So, all right, just a second. Gamma is above. All right. And let's see here if our candlestick breaks below and closes below. If it does, then it's a put. Let's just wait and see. Okay. Let's wait and see if it crosses below. A couple of more seconds. If this doesn't pan out, guys, I'm going to be moving on. All right. Couple of more seconds. So again, gamma is above. We need the candlestick to break and close below our ATR. So guys, I don't think that's going to happen in this case. I did try. Okay, now I will open the trade. Yes, I've gone ahead and I've opened the trade. Just let's see how this goes. Again, this was rushed, guys, not a good example. Let's wait and see how this goes. All right, but you need to be patient. Now, for the sake of the example, I've gone ahead and I've opened my trade. All right, but we needed to wait for the actual candlestick to close below. All right, just to get the proper signals. All right, so let's wait a couple of seconds to see how this is going to pan out. Okay. All right. Now, in terms of the templates, guys, we will be sending you the webinars via email in a couple of days, so you can actually take the time and actually revisit these again. All right. So it seems to be in our favor. Let's see how this goes. All right. But again, this wasn't the perfect example, guys, but I want you to understand that if you are patient, all right, and you find the proper signals, even if it's a boring, simple strategy, it can still work. All right, so this is it, guys. You see we've made a nice profit. Obviously, technical analysis isn't magic. It isn't perfect. It is based on previous information, but you can still make a couple of nice trades with it. Okay, see, we're patient. We got a good result. Now let's go back to our presentation. And I think in terms of these two strategies, I do apologize, guys. It took a little bit longer to actually find a live example. We did find one in the end. All right. In terms of the actual content for the two strategies, this is it. All right. Now, I did see some requests here for me to share the two strategies again. All right. So I'm going to go back so you guys can take screenshots of the two strategies. All right. So for the rainbow, these are going to be your settings. So settings again, EMA 6 blue, second one, EMA 14 yellow, EMA 26 red. Okay. And for a long position, take a screenshot of this for those of you that missed it. Okay, I've seen a lot of requests for this. All right, this is for a long position. This is for a short position. All right, Hamda, thank you for your kind words. Rami, no, you cannot use both of these strategies together. It's going to overwhelm you. There's going to be a lot of signals. No, it's recommended that you use either one or the other, depending if you are long-term or short-term. All right, and finally, this one here, the Kama trading stop strategy. Again, ATR, Kama, default settings, everything. Okay. And for a strong buy, the Kama moving average needs to be below our ATR. And you need to have a candlestick forming and closing above our ATR. Freedom Chan, I also wanted to give more live trades, but unfortunately, it's not going to be as easy. We don't have a lot of time. So you see that it took a couple of minutes to actually find a live trade that we can trade based on the signals. All right. Again, guys, for a strong sell indication for our second strategy, 1, 2, and 3 here. So again, Kama moving average needs to be above our ATR, and our here our first bearish candlestick closes below. Okay. Trading time, again, if you are using, for example, 15 seconds, your expiration time should be 3 to 4 times that. All right. So in the examples we gave before, if you're trading with 15 seconds, your expiration should be around a minute. Should be a minute, for example. 4 times that, a minute should be around 5 minutes, and so on. Okay. Now, guys, this is it for the presentation part of the webinar. I'm going to try and see if we actually have a couple of questions that we can answer. All right, let me wait and see here. So, Mohammed Khalif, sell options. If we are trading 3 hours timeline, sell option becomes disabled. Okay. I didn't quite understand your question. Was that a statement? Was that a question? Chandra Arifiato, 3 to 5 minutes, short or long. Chandra, again, this depends on you. This is why I did show a couple of different strategies. All right. So if you're more of a short-term trader, obviously you're going to be wanting to trade with even a minute expiration time. But if you prefer something slower, you can also go with 5, 15. This is up to you. Now, for our two strategies, though, remember the second one with the ATR and the Kama, that one is for 1 minute expiration time. All right. If you want to be doing more long-term trading, maybe 5 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, all right, you can use the rainbow strategy. All right. Second question here, Prudavi, thank you for the session. What do you think binary options will sustain in the long run? Because binary options is not regulated in any country. Well, look, binary options is legal, and everywhere you can trade with binary options. All right, everyone can trade in binary options, which can see it actually available on the platform. You can deposit, you can withdraw with no issues. If it was illegal, you wouldn't be able to do so. All right, so we do check these things. Of course, regulations for each country are different, so we do take the time to actually, read up and see what is more, if everything's okay. Mohammed Khalif, where is moving average indicator in IQ option? So if you press on the indicators on the bottom left, all right, there's a small circle, an icon that says indicators. You press there, you can search on the top right for moving average, and you can find it there. What is bearing? I'm assuming you mean bearish candlestick. Bearish candlestick is basically a candlestick that's going down. Okay, that's it. Dijav, what do we put for the period on ATR and Kaufman? So default settings. All right, change your. The only thing that you might need to change is the color of the comma indicator. Just because if you have a black screen and you set it to black, you won't be able to see it clearly. So default settings for both, and just change the color to your liking. Let me try and find here a couple of more questions. Can you use SMA instead of EMA? No, they work differently, so you need to use an EMA specifically. Okay. Other questions here. Let me see, guys. I'm seeing a lot of comments here. Not many questions. All right. I'm happy. I do see here that some people are already testing this, saying here. So, a question here I'm seeing, will this work 100%? So, look, again, as I explained, if you actually meet all the right steps, all right, you get all confirmations, yes, there is a high probability that this might work. Of course, there's always going to be risk. All right. As I said, technical analysis indicators do rely on past information. Okay, so if you complete all the steps, there is a high probability that the trade might go in your direction. But again, indicators are not magic. All right, but as we can see here, we did show a good live example of how these indicators might be effective if you be patient and you wait for all the steps. All right, let's see other questions here. Forex and binary chart the same. Yes, if you're trading on Euro USD on one and on the other, if you have the same expiration time, yes, they are the same. You're trading on the same currency pair. What is the difference between digital and binary? Guys, these are questions that I answered before. Basically, digital options also has price levels as well. It works slightly differently. It's the same concept, but it also has price levels. Let me see here, other questions. All right, guys, so I do not see any questions that I haven't already answered or that are relevant to this webinar. So Hamda says here, brother, can you do more webinar like this with different methods? So you mean with different strategies, I'm assuming. All right, well, look, more webinars are coming up. We are trying to see what you guys prefer. I wanted to start off with two very simple approaches that you can use, just because we already covered binary options before in another webinar. So I also wanted to give you two nice, effective strategies that even beginners or advanced users could use to actually get some good results and actually mitigate their risks. All right, so next webinar, stay tuned. Okay, we will be sending you guys notifications for next webinars. Until then, I hope that you guys gain something for this. Thank you for your high attendance and enjoy your trading. Okay, guys? Bye-bye and stay safe.